Listen carefully. What if the person everyone laughs at today becomes the one everyone talks about tomorrow? What if the silence you feel right now is not weakness, but preparation? Before you skip this video, remember this: some stories don't start with success, they start with survival. And this one might feel uncomfortably close to your own life. Every morning, the boy walked into school with his head slightly down, not because he was ashamed, but because he was tired. Tired of the looks, tired of the whispers, tired of being noticed for all the wrong reasons. His clothes were old, always the same faded colors. His shoes had cracks, but he tied them tightly as if that could hold his life together. He sat alone, not by choice, but because loneliness had chosen him long ago. From the first bell to the last, school felt like a battlefield. Laughter would rise behind him, sudden and sharp. Someone would tap his shoulder just to pull their hand back and laugh. Someone else would mock his accent, his silence, his torn notebook. He never fought back. Not because he was weak, but because he knew something they didn't. Survival sometimes means staying quiet. At home, things were not easier. There was no father waiting with advice or protection. His father had passed away when he was too young to remember his voice. All he had was his mother, working long hours. Her body tired, her eyes heavy, but her spirit unbroken. She never complained. She never cried in front of him. Some nights, dinner was just bread and tea. Still, she would smile and say, "One day, life will listen to you." He didn't fully understand her words then. All he understood was pain, responsibility, and pressure. He studied not because he loved books, but because books were the only place where no one laughed at him. Words didn't judge. Numbers didn't insult. Pages didn't push him away. If this story already feels real to you, take a second right now, like this video, and subscribe to Mindforge. Not for us, but because stories like this remind you that you're not alone. Stay with us, because the part you need most is coming. Days passed. Months passed. The mocking did not stop. In fact, it grew worse. One day, during class, a boy shouted, "Why does he even come to school?" The room filled with laughter. The teacher was writing on the board, unaware. The boy felt his chest tighten. His hands shook. For a moment, he wanted to disappear. But instead of running out, he stayed. That was the first quiet victory of his life. That evening, he walked home slower than usual. His mind replayed the laughter again and again. At home, his mother noticed his silence. She didn't ask questions. She simply placed her hand on his head and said, "I believe in you." That sentence stayed with him longer than any insult ever could. One afternoon, after another hard day, he stayed behind in the classroom. He pretended to organize his bag, hoping everyone would leave. A teacher noticed him sitting alone. She didn't shout. She didn't give a lecture. She sat beside him and said softly, "You don't have to fight alone." Those words cracked something inside him. Tears came quietly, not dramatic, just honest. She didn't promise miracles. She didn't say life would be easy. She only said, "Use this pain. Don't waste it." That day something shifted, not outside. Inside, he started waking up earlier, studying late at night when the house was silent. Sometimes there was no electricity, so he studied under streetlights. Sometimes there were no books, so he borrowed old ones. Sometimes there was no motivation, so he remembered the laughter. Every insult became fuel. Every tear became discipline. Years moved forward. Life tested him again and again. Exams failed him before success ever did. Opportunities slipped away. Friends came and left. But one thing remained: his refusal to quit. Slowly, teachers noticed his progress. His name started appearing on notice boards. Not for punishment, but for achievement. The same students who once mocked him now watched him quietly. Some felt confused. Some felt guilty. Some pretended they had always supported him. He didn't confront anyone. He didn't need revenge. Growth was louder than anger. One day, he stood on a stage to receive an award. His hands shook, not from fear, but from memory. He looked into the crowd and saw his mother. Her eyes were filled with tears, her smile trembling. In that moment, everything made sense. The hunger, the loneliness, the silence. Pain had not destroyed him, it had shaped him. His story did not end there. Life moved on. Challenges returned in new forms: work pressure, financial stress, self-doubt, but now he had proof that he could survive, adapt, and rise. He carried that lesson everywhere. Today, his journey is shared on Mindforge not to glorify suffering, but to remind you of this truth. Your current situation is not your final destination. Being ignored does not mean being invisible. Being mocked does not mean being small. Sometimes the world is quiet around you because it is preparing you for something loud. If you're watching this and feeling unseen, unheard, or underestimated, stay with it. Stay patient, stay consistent. Your story is still loading. Before this video ends, I want you to do something simple but powerful. Comment below and tell us, what struggle are you facing right now? Share this video with someone who needs strength today. Your one share might become someone else's turning point. This is Mindforge, where real stories turn pain into purpose and silence into strength. Keep going. Your time is closer than you think.